शतम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, श्री गंगा माई की, श्री यमुना माई की, तुलसी देवी की, भक्ति देवी की, कलियुग पावन श्री राम संकीर्तन की, और glorious assembled devotees, all glorious assembled devotees, all glorious assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, Shri Shri Radha Madhav की जय, जय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Let's give huge round of applause to all of our Kirtaniyas, Pujaris. Hari Bol. Anyone coming first time today? Hari Bol. Welcome. Before we move to our regular Sunday feast program, let's start with Srila Prabhupada's quote. If Krishna wants to kill somebody, nobody can protect him. And if Krishna wants to protect someone, nobody can kill him. As we are going, we started collecting all the information for all the newcomers. Please make sure you guys filled out the form at the front desk. We have a tablet over there. If there is no tablet, there will be a register. Please go over there and fill out all the required information. Also follow us on all our social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. All of the information is available at front desk. There are some of the special announcements and events. First of all, today's Sunday feast is sponsored by Ruchi Gopinath Prabhu and Amrita Ganga Mataji on the occasion of Amrita Ganga Mataji's birthday, which was celebrated on last week on 15th of January. And on their upcoming marriage anniversary on 20th of January. Hari Bol! We have also started a monthly shloka recitation class which is happening on first Friday of every month. I repeat, first Friday of every month we will have monthly shloka recitation online Zoom class. If someone wants to join, please give your name at front desk. We have another shloka recitation classes for the children of age 5 to 15. I repeat, for the children of age 5 to 15, we have online shloka recitation classes which will happen at every Friday at 8 p.m. Every Friday 8 p.m. It's again gonna be online Zoom class. We will also be introducing a newcomers reading club where we will encourage all the newcomers to read Srila Prabhupada's books at their own time, 2 to 3 pages a day. And the book for February month is Perfect Questions and Answers. I repeat, the book name is Perfect Questions and Answers. This book will be given free to all the newcomers. You can also contact our welcome team, Nishant Prabhu or Vivek Prabhu or Sucharu Mataji for more information. Let's also chant 3 times for the health of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, for the speedy recovery of our congregation member Padmaja Mataji, and actually Garuda Vaishnav Prabhu, Garuda Vahan Prabhu, a direct disciple of ISKCON founder Srila Prabhupada, who left his body on last Friday. Also, Sachi Mata's close relative, Sarita Mataji passed away yesterday due to heart failure. Please include in the prayers. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This week's Vedic discourse will be given by His Grace Ruchi Gopinath Das on the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verses 25 to 33. Ruchi Gopinath Prabhu came into Krishna consciousness 10 years ago. He is a disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He did Bhakti Shastri degree from back ISKCON Brampton. Along with his wife, Amrita Ganga Devi Dasi, they are engaged in various services in ISKCON Toronto and ISKCON Mississauga. A big Hari Bol and welcome to Ruchi Gopinath Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna. Thank you. First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to the management of ISKCON Mississauga for giving me this opportunity to purify my own consciousness. And I would also like to, I humbly seek blessings of the senior Vaishnavas present here so that I may be able to present something meaningful. And I have nothing of my own to contribute. Whatever I speak is simply from the acharyas and realization of senior Vaishnavas. And I'm only attempting to present whatever I have gathered from them. And in case there's any mistake in my delivery, I take the responsibility for that and seek your forgiveness. And in case you find anything meaningful, the credit for that goes to our acharyas and our Guru Maharaj. So I'm trying to just repeat whatever I have gathered from them. So we'll start with the Jai Radha Madhav for that. You can repeat after me. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girvar Dhari. चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं सागरजतं सहगण रघुनाथवितं तं साजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्णा पदं सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखावितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते कांता कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुतदेवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today's verses are 25 to 33 of chapter 4. But before that, we would like to review what we have learned in the previous chapter 3 and up to verses 24. So Krishna basically starts with Karma Yoga in chapter 2 to 5 and to steady Arjuna, and advances to Jnana and divine knowledge in chapter 6 to 12, and then Gunas and surrender in chapter 13 to 18, revealing Bhakti only when ready. You see, it's a gradual revelation of Gita. Krishna didn't give us final verdict in the initial stages itself. It started from the basics in the beginning and then gradually took us to Bhakti. And chapter 3 prepares us for foundation of chapter 4. And because we have to understand Karma Yoga first to appreciate the divine knowledge. And what were the lessons for chapter 3? Which in chapter 3 teaches the path of Karma Yoga, performing one's duty without attachment to results and offering all actions to God. Krishna explains that no one can avoid action, so selfless service and sacrifice purify the mind and support spiritual growth, while selfish desire and anger are real inner enemies. So these are the points that action binds when done with sense gratification, action liberates when done for service to Krishna, and the lust is the chief enemy of conditioned soul. And Karma Yoga is not repression, it is redirection. And desire is purified when connected to Krishna's service. And this prepares the heart to receive transcendental knowledge as given in chapter 4. So in chapter 4, we have been told how, how should I act? That was told to us in chapter 3. And now in chapter 4, it is from where the knowledge will come. How I have to come, the knowledge will come from chapter 4. And Karma Yoga needs proper knowledge, and the knowledge must come from a pure source. And therefore Krishna begins chapter 4 by revealing Parampara system. And these are the, three basic topics we have covered so far in chapter 4. Verses 1 to 8, in 1 to 8, it was given ancient knowledge via Guru Parampara was given. And verses 9 to 15, Krishna's avatars and selfless action was told. And verses 16 to 24, seeing all work as Yajna to Brahman, that was narrated. Because chapter 4 starts with Krishna's credential, that is, this knowledge is ancient, passed through disciplic section. Then he gives Karma Yoga, act without attachment. And verses 16 to 24, which build towards the pinnacle of Jnana Karma Sannyas Yoga, perceiving all aspects of action as Brahman and offering everything as Yajna. And now verses 25 to 33 expands this. If work can be Yajna, so the worship, senses, breath, wealth, study, one principle and many applications. So all these can be Yajnas. So practical example is like learning to cook. Verses 1 to 4 was there in how to learn to cook. And then cooking become creative expression in 25 to 33. Basic Karma Yoga makes office work worship. Now even the breathing becomes Yajna. In this chapter, breathing will also become Yajna. What is the context of this section of 25 to 33? That various Yajnas leading to purification, knowledge and ultimately devotion to Krishna. Earlier in this chapter, Krishna explained how to act without bondage, do your duty, but stay detached from inside. And now in verses 25 to 33, Krishna shows many ways to do this, many forms of yajna and sacrifice. Think of this section as Krishna saying, whatever your nature, you are ritualistic, you are intellectual, charitable, yogic, there is a way you can proceed, you can advance. Just like different exercises, you see, just like for staying fit, we do many exercises. Somebody to do walking, swimming, yoga, gym, but all can make our body fit. Different yajnas also make our heart spiritually fit. Then one may think that why so many yajnas? Why not, only single type of yajna he would have prescribed? But if Krishna would have given only one method, many would have feel left out. So he showed a spectrum, he given a spectrum of things. The lesson is spirituality is not one size fit for all. It is start from wherever you are. The central idea is start wherever you are, but spiritualize what you do by offering it as a yajna. And in overview, yajnas are basically there are two types of yajnas: external yajnas and internal yajnas. External yajnas are offering things and resources, and internal yajnas are offering of senses, breath, mind, intellect, and ego into self-mastery and God-centered. So externally easier to see. We can see that okay, somebody is doing externally, you see some charity, but internally is more subtle. But both are important. Just like giving a donation is an external yajna, and forgiving someone hurt us is internal yajna. Somebody has hurt us and we are forgiving him, that is an internal yajna. Because both involve giving up something dear. In the external yajna, we are giving up money, and in the internal yajna, we are giving resentment that is inside. Let us see individual verses now. See, from 25 to 33, we have to see all those verses. So we are starting with verse number 25. Devam ivapare yajnam yogina paryupasate brahmagna pare janam jane nava pajuhavati. You see, some worship devas through material offerings, and others offer self into the fire of Brahman, a more internal, jnana-oriented yajna or impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord. The Krishna consciousness, these are the internal yajnas. First is material yajna is there, and then impersonal Brahman is there. But for a Krishna conscious person, like Arjuna, however, sacrifice everything for satisfaction of Krishna. And thus all his material possession as well as his own self, everything is sacrificed to Krishna. So Krishna first mentions people who worship devas through offerings, and then he mentions those who see everything as an offering to Brahman, a more philosophical internal orientation. He honors both, the ritualistic and contemplative. One person regularly does arti, offers flowers to the deities, and another deeply meditates on I am soul, not this body, and sees the world as a divine energy. Krishna is saying both can progress if they keep the mood of offering. The next verse is sense-controlled yajnas, verse 26. Shrotriya din indriyani anye samyam agnishu juhvati sabda din dvishyan anya agnishu juhvati. See, Bhagavad Gita 4.26 simplified to two internal sacrifices. Two internal sacrifices are being explained here. Self-mastery, for self-mastery, fully restrain their senses using the mind as fire, while household, you see, fully restrain, these ascetics fully restrain their senses using mind as fire, while householders use their own senses as fire to process objects without attachment. So example for ascetics, a lifelong celibate meditates deeply, silencing wandering ears from street noise, and street noise, eyes from distraction by chanting focus inside, like turning off all inputs to the phone while strict mental discipline. That is for the lifelong ascetic. And a family person tastes food mindfully or enjoys music without craving more, offering sensory experience to control senses, like using a filter on social media to view content passively without endless scrolling or addiction. The core lesson is both paths purify karma by sacrifice, fitting chapter 4's progression. External rituals evolve to internal mastery, echoing 4.24 Brahman offering. Then this is for verse number 27. Sarvan indriya karmani pran karmani chapare atma samyam yogagno yuvati jnanadipite. Others who are interested in achieving self-realization through control of mind and senses offer the functions of all the senses and life breath as obtains into the fire of controlled mind. In purport of this verse, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that as long as the soul is attached to sense enjoyment, it is a prag atma. but as soon as it is detached from sense enjoyment, it is Pratyagatma. So this distinction between Praragatma and Pratyagatma, though not there in the verse as such, but in the purport of this verse, Srila Prabhupada has explained about the Praragatma and Pratyagatma. And senses and Pranavayu is explained as senses like ear for sound, eyes for seeing, nose for smell, tongue for taste, skin for touch, pull outward like magnets to external objects. These things attract us, whatever we see outside. And driven by Pranavayu, the vital energy animate perception and intake, like fuel powering a car's dashboard sensors. This keeps consciousness scattered outside the self until discipline. There are 5 types of Vayus have been given in the purport. That is, Apan Vayu, it flows downward, handling elimination, that is waste reproduction, like drain clearing the body. Vayan Vayu is explained, expands, contracts outward, circulating blood nutrients like a web distributing flow everywhere. Then Saman Vayu is explained, not Aman, which is not Aman, that is Saman. Balances digestion, assimilation around the navel, like a mixture evenly blending food or emotions. And then Udan Vayu, the rises upwards governing speech growth, like an elevator lifting to higher. His Grace Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Charandas explains these Vayus show how sophisticated Vedic philosophy is. Not just breathe deeply, but understanding 5 energy systems we can spiritualize. Like phone addiction strains the eyes, causing rapid blinking that disturbs Kurma Aparana, the Subparana, governing eye stability and lubrication, unbalancing Pranavayu and pulling sense outward. Then office anger, that is Udan, speech Vayu. Instead of reacting mentally, offer words to Krishna. When we are disturbed in the office, that anger, so instead of reacting, we should mentally offer words to Krishna and pause and pray and speak softly. Then afternoon slump, like Devadatta yawning. Instead of coffee, do 10 mindful breaths, offering drowniness to Krishna for clarity. And see, even breathing, digesting, blinking can become yajna if done by awareness to Krishna. These basic activities also can be translated to Krishna. Then this is verse 28. Dravya yajnas tapo yajna, yoga yajnas tatha pare, swadhyaya yajna yajnascha, yatahaya samshita vrtaha. Having accepted strict vows, some become enlightened by sacrificing their professions, and others by performing severe austerities, by practicing yoga of 8-fold mysticism, or by studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. So, like all these charitable activities, like charitable institutions like Dharamshala, Annakshetra, Athitishala, Anathshale, Vidyapit, all these are dravya. In case we donate in these institutions, they are Dravya Maya Yajna. And some individuals undertake strict vows and austerities like Chandrayana or Chaturmasya to attain higher spiritual or cosmic advancement. These disciplined practices involve a sacrifice of personal comfort and are known as Tapomaya Yajna. And some people practice different forms of yoga, such as Patanjali system, Hatha Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, seeking spiritual or material perfection. Others visit holy places, and all these efforts are known as Yoga Yajna, or sacrifices for specific types of perfection. And some individuals devote themselves to studying Vedic scriptures like Upanishad, Vedanta Sutra, and Sankhya philosophy. And these dedications is called Svadhyaya Yajna. So all 4 yajnas are explained here. Then how we can offering mind and air into fire of yoga and discipline. Dravya Yajna is charity, Tapa Yajna is austerity, Yoga Yajna is discipline, and Swadhyaya Yajna is study and contemplation of Shastra. Note, Krishna speaks of offering mind and life air into yoga, focusing thoughts, regulating emotions, channeling energy. Then he lists out Dravya Yajna like Dravya Yajna, charity, Tapa Yajna, austerity, Yoga Yajna, discipline practice, Svadhyaya Yajna, scriptural study. And Krishna consciousness, however, is different from these because it is a direct service to the Supreme Lord. Krishna's consciousness cannot be attained by any one of the above types of yajnas, but can be attained only by the mercy of the Lord and his bona fide devotees. Therefore, Krishna consciousness is transcendental, but we can do these yajnas in a Krishna conscious way. We can do all these yajnas in a Krishna conscious way, and then we can achieve the result. Then, setting aside even a mixed, you see, like charity. In the charity, in case we set aside a fixed small percentage of our income for Krishna's service, that can be taken as in a Krishna conscious way. We can take this charity yajna, and that is a dravya yajna. For austerity, waking up early in the morning and doing japa, and even when the body wants to sleep, that is a tapa yajna, and we are sacrificing our consciousness for that. And studying and spending 15-20 minutes daily reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, instead of watching random videos, that is Svadhyaya Yajna. So all these yajnas we can do in a Krishna conscious way. Then there's a verse 29. Apane juhvati pranam, prane panam tatha pare, pranapan gati ludva, pranayam parayana, apare niyatahara, praneshu juhvati. Still others who are inclined to the process of breath restrain to remain in trance, practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, stopping all the breathing. Others are tailing the eating process of offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice. It's a very difficult exercise that you see, you are merging your internal airs. So this verse explains the practice of Kumbhaka Yoga. You see, this is there, everything Srila Prabhupada has found out, you see, what is relevant in each of these verses. So he has mentioned the Kumbhaka Yoga, where control of breath can extend one's life and aid in spiritual realization. By this, the yogis used to extend their life. And while yogis strive for perfection through such practices, a Krishna conscious person achieves spiritual elevation through constant devotional service, naturally controlling the senses. Unlike those who extend life for progress, the devotee's pure service immediately places them on the transcendental platform. Eating only food offered to Krishna Prasadam also supports sense control, helping one escape material entanglement. So, inhalation offered into exhalation and vice versa, prana offered into apan and apan into pran. Even breathing can become worship when done in remembrance of dedication. Even this we can translate to Krishna consciousness. So techniques like pranayam are not end in themselves. They calm our system so the mind can remember Krishna better. Before japa or reading, taking a few slow conscious breaths while thinking, let me now connect with you, Krishna. This is a simple, accessible prana yajna for modern life. Simply taking a slow breath, conscious breath, and thinking that, okay, let me connect with Krishna. So what are the unifying thread in all these yajnas? Many forms one purpose, purification of consciousness, chitta suddhi. And yajna is not about slow religion, but about changing inner orientation from self-centered to Krishna-centered. Self-centered yajna or Krishna-centered yajna. We have to change it to Krishna-centered yajna. See, after listing various yajna, Krishna's mood is, I recognize all of you. Whatever your path. If you are offering, you are mine. The common fruit, purification of consciousness, the inner dust that makes us forget Krishna get cleansed. Like different detergents for clothes, vessels, floors, all meant to clean. Similarly, each yajna is a different detergent for hurt. This is verse 30. Sarve pete yajna vido, yajna kshpita kalmashaha, yajna shishtamarata bhujo, yanti brahma sanatanam. All these performers who know the meanings of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar of the result of sacrifice, they advance towards supreme eternal atmosphere. In the previous verses, 3 types of yajnas or sacrifices are explained. Sacrifice of one's possession, study of Vedas and philosophical doctrines, and performance of yoga system. What is common in all these is control of senses. All these sacrifices help one to become cleansed of sinful reactions of material existence, which brings us closer to Krishna and ultimately brings us back to Godhead. There is a word used here by Srila Prabhupada, Yajna Vidha. Those who know the purpose of yajnas become free from sins. So different practitioners, same ultimate trajectory, from purification to satisfaction to liberation. And those who understand the purpose of yajnas, not just the rituals, become purified and satisfied. They move towards the liberation. One can perform yajnas in ignorance for prestige, show or material gain, or in knowledge for purification and devotion. For example, two people sponsor for a festival like our Festival of Joy. But one wants to give the name on the banner, and another wants just to people to remember Krishna. So externally same yajna, internally different. The second is closer to Yajna Vidha. He knows about the yajna. This is the smallest slok in the whole of Bhagavad Gita, 4.31. Nayam lokaste agyanas ajanyasya godovanya kuru sattama. O best of Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? This is the shortest verse of Bhagavad Gita, giving very important teaching that without sacrifice one cannot live happily neither in this world nor in the next. But the highest kind of happiness that a man can achieve is to be promoted to the spiritual planets by the practice of Krishna consciousness. A life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all the problems of material existence. This is 4.32. Evam bahuvida yajna vitata brahmano mukhe karmajana vijayitan sarvan evam jnanatva vimokshase. All these different types of sacrifices are proved by Vedas, and all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them such, you will become liberated. So because men are so deeply absorbed in bodily concept, those sacrifices are so arranged that one can work either by body, or with the mind, or with the intelligence. But all of them are recommended for ultimate bringing about liberation from the body. This is confirmed by the Lord herewith in his own words in this verse. It says, all these yajnas are described in the Vedas as a path for spiritual elevation. Understanding their design frees from sectarianism, many processes, one divine purpose. Krishna says all these yajnas are described in the Vedas. They are part of vast spiritual ecosystem designed to gradually elevate soul. When we see this design, we stop fighting over my path versus your path and appreciate how they converge towards Krishna. Some are attached to Kirtan, some are silent japa, some to study, some to service activities. Gita invites us to see these as coordinated parts of one divine curriculum. This is verse 33. Shreyan dravya mayad yajna yagnes parantapa sarvam karma kilam pratha jnane parisam samapyate. O chastiser of enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possessions. After all, O son of Partha, all the sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. So all forms of sacrifices are meant to lead to true knowledge, freedom from material suffering, and ultimately loving service to Supreme Lord in Krishna consciousness. Sacrifice performed only on the material level without transcendental knowledge gives no spiritual benefit, whereas sacrifice performed with such knowledge is considered higher and becomes spiritual, depending on one's consciousness. Sacrifice is called Karam Kanda or Gyan Kanda, or for Karam Kanda is for material benefit and Gyan Kanda for the truth and knowledge. And superior goal is to reach the platform of transcendental knowledge. Then why Gyan Yajna is higher? Sacrifice possessions, the way Yajna has value, but remains limited if done without spiritual understanding. Jnana Yajna is greater because all other yajnas should culminate in knowledge of the soul and their relationship. Hare Krishna, here Krishna gives a hierarchy. Sacrifice of possessions are good, but Gyan Yajna, sacrifice in knowledge, is better. Why? Because actions without understanding often stay within the material modes. When infused with proper knowledge, the same action becomes truly liberating. For example, one person gives $1,000 to a temple, but thinks I am the benefactor. And another, with deep understanding, gives only $100 with humility, thinking Krishna is allowing me to return his own money. The second, though giving less, may progress more because of Jnana Yajna. So, what are the essence of Jnana Yajna? It is given in content. In content is knowing I am soul, not this body. We should know that I am soul, not this body. And knowing Krishna is the Supreme Lord and ultimate enjoyer. And third, is knowing everything I have is His energy entrusted to me. So Jnana Yajna is not dry speculation, it is understanding three truths. These are the three truths Krishna is telling us. And this knowledge changes with the meaning of everything we do. In case we have this knowledge, whatever we do, it changes our perception for that. And when we see ourselves as a soul, insults affect us less. When we see Krishna as the proprietor, losses hurt but do not crush. And knowledge changes our emotional reaction. And this is in process of Jnana Yajna, offering the intellect into Shastras, hearing, contemplating, discussing spiritual wisdom, and using understanding to consciously align work, relationship and choices with Krishna's will. The intellect is like steering wheel of the car's life. If it is turns towards Krishna, the whole vehicle will follow. And instead of mechanically chanting, we also learn why chanting helps, how the mind works, what Gita says about desires. This understanding protects us when temptation arises. And before a big decision, job change, relocation, take time to study Gita principles and consult a devotee is also a Jnana Yajna. For fruits of Jnana Yajna, you see, other yajnas purify. Jnana Yajna clarifies and stabilizes. Mature knowledge naturally leads to loving surrender, bhakti, not dry speculation. The Jnana Yajna tells us not just good, but towards whom to move, Krishna. Mature knowledge doesn't inflate ego, I know so much. It deepens surrender. Krishna, you know everything, please guide me. After years of practice, a devotee may simplify life, reduce unnecessary luxuries, and focus more on service and remembrance. This is knowledge ripening into devotion, not pride. We understand Bhagavad Gita is like you see, after this, the Jnana Yajna's fruit are, clarified. And now I have tried to relate these yajnas with the teachings which we have actually, because whatever we get in the Bhagavad Gita is a philosophy which we must learn. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam are the actual application of those philosophies, which when we study that, our understanding improves. So Gita is just like a blueprint of a building, what we want to make, and precise, powerful. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the construction site, messy but real, inspiring. Gita says do, and Srimad Bhagavatam shouts, it succeeds. Philosophy equips mind, stories ignite heart. So let's relish verses from stories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have tried to relate these yajnas with the stories from Bhagavatam. So first, you see, story which came to my mind was Brahman Yajnas. You see, it's a pastime of Yajna Brahmans and their wives in the 10th canto, setting the scene. In Vrindavan, Krishna and the cowherd boys become hungry during their play, and Krishna sends them to nearby Brahmanas who are performing grand Vedic sacrifice. And these priests are absorbed in precise rituals, mantras and fire offerings, and hoping the material and heavenly results from their yajnas. But what happened? The boys humbly request food on Krishna's behalf, but the Brahmanas ignore them, thinking we are in the middle of an important sacrifice. This is not the right time. Externally, they are experts in karma kanda yajnas, but internally they lack knowledge yajna and devotion. Their sacrifice remain on the material platform. Whereas the wives, they are the living yajnas. Krishna then sends the boys to the Brahmana's wife, who are at home cooking opulent offering meant for the same yajna. And on simply hearing that Krishna is nearby and hungry, the wives drop everything, social fear, ritual formalities, and even their husbands' commands and run towards Krishna with all prepared food. So here the Brahmanas represent sacrifice with lots of external materials but little transcendental knowledge or devotion. Their yajna is like the lower level where offerings remain bound to the material platform. But their wives' spontaneous offering is the Jnana Yajna and Bhakti Yajna in action. They see Krishna as the real Yagnapati and offering everything, their food, time, reputation, and even their herds as sacrifice to him. This story shows the highest sacrifice Krishna glorifies is not merely pouring ghee into the fire, but offering one's life, knowledge, senses, breath, and possession in loving service to him. If time permits, we can see some more examples. I think we have time. So there are, Devata and Dravya Yajna in Srimad Bhagavatam. Daksha sacrifice is there. In Canto 4, Daksha and Shiva narrative is there. Daksha organized a huge Deva Yajna meant for elevation and prestige, typical of Karma Kanda sacrifice. When he neglects Lord Shiva and ultimately Vishnu, the sacrifice is ruined, showing that the Dravya Yajna without devotion does not grant highest result. And there's another one, King Prithu, 100 Ashwamedh Yajna. Prithu Maharaj performs many royal sacrifices with enormous wealth, but ultimately stops when Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu intervene, teaching that the goal is pleasing Vishnu, not multiplying ritual acts. This nicely illustrates Bhagavad Gita 4.31 and 32. Yajna brings purification and should cultivate in higher realization. Then Atma Yajna and Jnana Yajna. Narad to King Prachin Bhari, story of Puranjana was there. The story of Puranjana shows conditioned souls sacrificing everything to material enjoyment. Narada then redirects the king to sacrifice very sense of I and mine in bhakti and hearing about the Lord. This is an excellent example of turning from Karma Yajna to Jnana Yajna and ultimate to Bhakti Yajna, making a sacrifice in knowledge. Then 4 Kumaras and Lord Vishnu, Vishnu's fragrance. You see, 4 Kumaras are absorbed in impersonal Jnana Yajna. But upon smelling the tulasi fragrance from the Lord's feet, they offer their heart in devotion. This internal offering of ego and conception into the fire of Bhagavad fits the Agni Yajna spirit of 4.25 to 27. Then sense control and tapas yajnas. Dhruv Maharaj austerity. Dhruv leaves home, controls eating, speech, and senses, and performs intense meditation and austerities of the Lord. His life perfectly embodies transforming sense power and mind into the internal yajna, paralleling Shrotra Indrayani. So he has devoted all his Indrayanis towards that. Dhruv Maharaj yajna, that was a proper one. Then Prachetas underwater meditation and vows. The Prachetas live underwater for thousands of years, chanting the prayers given by Lord Shiva with controlled diet and senses. Their discipline, tapa and one-pointed devotion exemplify tapa yajna and yoga yajna working together as outlined. And pranayam and prana yajna and dhruv and prachetas. The description of dhruv breath control to the point of partially stopping the universal air. When dhruv performed this pranayam yajna, then partially stopped the universal air. Show pran and apan being tightly regulated for realization of Vishnu. Similarly, the Prachetas' long meditation includes regulated breathing and living, matching the pranayam pranaya. Then Swadhyaya Yajna and Bhakti Yajna. Shukdev Goswami reciting Parikshit hearing. Shukdev offers his realization in the form of continuous Bhagavatam recitation, and Parikshit offers his remaining life, air, and attention in hearing. This is Swadhyaya Jnana Yajna done in Bhakti Yajna. The hearing and chanting yajna shows how all sacrifices culminate in knowledge and devotion. The 9 process of bhakti given by Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad lists Sharanam, Kirtan, Vishnu Samaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandyam, Dashyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam as offering of time, senses and mind to the Lord, capturing the essence of all yajnas described in these verses. These acts are repeatedly portrayed as superior even to elaborate Dravya Yajna, again echoing Bhagavad Gita 4.33, preference for higher sacrifice than knowledge, with knowledge. So, what are the key themes of these verses 4.25 to 33? Diversity, Krishna validates many yajnas for different psychologies. Unity, all yajnas are meant for purification, satisfaction and liberation through God-centered living. And culmination, all karma-based yajnas should lead to Gyan Yajna and using intellect to deeply understand the turn towards Krishna. We see many yajnas for different natures, but one purpose, purification, satisfaction and liberation through God-centered life. And our karma yogas are meant to culminate in Gyan Yajna, using our intellect to understand and loving towards Krishna. And how we can apply these in today's life. Work as yajna, perform duty ethically, offer results to Krishna. Then family as yajna, serve family members as soul connected to Krishna. Consumption as Krishna, accept food, money, technology as prasad and use them in seva. And how we can live yajna life in 21st century, not by adding dozens of rituals, but by channeling the intention behind what we already do. Work, like before starting work, mentally offer your day, Krishna, let me work honestly and accept the results as your mercy. That transforms office hours into karma yoga. And then in family, see family members as soul, as a spiritual journey, not as a possessions. Facilitate their spiritual growth, that is family yajna. Then money, budget with a line for seva. Even a small consistent amount keeps the heart in a giving mood. That is very important. And central message is whatever we have, body, senses, breath, wealth, mind and intellect can become yajnas. Among all the yajnas, sacrifice of knowledge that content us to Krishna most powerfully, redirect and liberates our hearts. You see, these verses tell us whatever we have, body, senses, breath, wealth, mind, intellect can be offered as a yajna. And when our yajnas are infused with knowledge, Gyan Yajna, they don't just make us pious, they carry us back to Krishna. Let us make a personal commitment to self. Which one yajna can we strengthen this week? Charity, discipline, study, sense control. On our own, we should contemplate on this, what we can start doing and how we can connect it more consciously to Krishna. Thank you. And any questions and realization, I will appreciate in case you can make some.
Thank you, Prabhu. A nice Vedic discourse. Any questions?
Excellent coverage. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
No? Okay. If someone has any questions later, they can connect with Prabhu during the prasadam time.
Thank you.
One more important announcement. Our book distribution team distributed 34 books last week, including 17 Bhagavad Gita. A big Hari Bol. Now we will proceed ahead with the closing kirtan. Okay. Before we start, any newcomers came in during the Vedic discourse? Any newcomers first time? Okay, a big Hari Bol. Welcome team, please take care.
Hare